Hi, it's Claudia from Create with Claudia. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm really excited this month. November is my final blog hop post for the 2021 year that I've been an Island Batik ambassador. Late last year, they chose me as one of their 2021 ambassadors. There are 24 of us. It's been such an honor. We have one more project in December, but this is our final blog hop. 4 times a year, they send us packets of fabric. They send us half-yard cuts of 20 different fabrics. Those are all new fabric lines. And between the 24 ambassadors, we all get different packages. Usually there's 2 or 3 people get the same fabric line. And it's so much fun to see what everybody does with them. If you watched my unboxing video, this was the surprise package that I didn't unwrap. The fabrics are called Constellations. They were designed by Kathy Engle for Kari Nichols of Quilting Renditions. And as soon as I opened that the surprise package, I was blown away. I love blue. I had to wear blue sweater and blue jeans to commemorate all these gorgeous blue fabrics. What a pleasure it was to work with these fabrics. Just gorgeous, from really dark sort of midnight navy blues to really pale, even some whites in there. Beautiful fabric line. Again, it's Constellations designed by Kathy Engle for Kari Nichols of Quilting Renditions. It should be available in stores in December of 2021. For this blog hop, the ambassadors were asked to do a storm at sea quilt. Now I know it doesn't look exactly like a storm at sea quilt. I thought I'd take a little bit of liberty with the design. It is a storm at sea box. You might, block. You might be able to see it here. It's really hard to see with the black. I loved that circular shape, and this is why I called the quilt Night Navigator. It reminds me of sort of a nautical, like a compass, that kind of thing, and with the night sky, using the compass to guide your way, or the stars in the sky. So what I did is I colored it a little differently, using some corners with the white, and then the rest was all black to really make that circular shape pop. I am just super happy with the way this turned out. It's made up of the 20 different fabrics. I wanted to highlight, one of the things I like to do with these blog hops is highlight all 20 fabrics that we get in a fabric line. I really like to show them all off. So each block has 5 different fabrics, and they're all made up different. It actually worked out perfectly because there are 20 blocks and there are 20 fabrics in the fabric line. So this is the quilt I made. What I'm going to do is show you how to use the AccuQuilt and some of its cutting, the dies, to make a storm at sea block. It makes it really easy. There are a lot of pieces in the storm at sea quilt block, and so I can't wait to show you how I did that. I did it a little differently, but you'll see how I did it. First and foremost, I want to thank Island Batik for sending me these gorgeous fabrics to use in this, and also for choosing me as an ambassador. It's just been such a pleasure, and I know I say that every month if you watch my videos, but I can't help it. It's a lot of fun. So thank you to Island Batik for this gorgeous fabric, and thank you to AccuQuilt Go. At the beginning of the year, they sent the ambassadors a AccuQuilt Go machine plus a Go cube, and that's what I used with this, plus I bought an extra die, and again I'll show you that in a minute. So thank you to AccuQuilt. Thank you to Hobbs batting. I used Hobbs batting in this quilt, some beautiful white batting. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. And last but not least, for this quilt I use that always in my machine, are Schmetz needles. So thank you to Schmetz needles. They gave us a bunch of needles at the beginning of the year as well. So I'm going to go set up this camera. I'll be back in a minute, and I'm going to show you how to use my AccuQuilt Go to make a storm at sea block. It's a 16.5-inch block. All right, I'm back. I'm all set up. I just want to show you again what I got at the beginning of the year from AccuQuilt for being an Island Batik ambassador. We got the Go Cube, and I got the AccuQuilt Go machine. I was blown away by all of this. And this is the mix and match 8-inch block. So there are 8 different dies in here. And I used a number of these, and I'll show you what they were in a minute. And that's the 8-inch mix and match block. And then this is the machine we got. And then I'm going to show you what we need to make one 16.5-inch storm at sea quilt block. Now I have seen that AccuQuilt does have they do now have a storm at sea die. So you have everything you need in one spot. How awesome is that? I did not have that, so I thought I would make do with what I had. And I'm just going to show you now how what I used and how many pieces of each size you're going to need. So the first ones are all from this from the AccuQuilt Mix and Match 8-inch block. You will need for one block, and this is the first, let's see, the first 5 dies are all from the AccuQuilt Go 8-inch Mix and Match block. So here we go. First up, you need 4 of the quarter square triangles, 4-inch, and that's die number 4 in this box. So I used white for that. So there's number 1. Number 2, let me turn these around so I can read them to you. The half square triangle 4-inch finished square, that's number 3 from the Go Cube. You need 4 of those. 4 of those, you needed 4 from the other one. You will need, here's a lot, we need 16 of the half square triangle 2-inch finished squares, and that's die number 5 from the Go Cube. 16 of those. And look at that gorgeous blue. From, let's see, this one, square on point, 3 1/4 inches, die number 6 from the Go Cube. You need 4 squares. I used a nice white. These are all fabrics from the Constellations collection. So that's that one. All right, last but not least, from the Go Cube, the square 4 1/2 inches, and that's die number 1. You need 1 square of that. That's for that center, and there it is. I didn't press that real well. I'm going to go back and press that. Really pretty blue with like clouds and things like that. And then last but not least, and this is the die I had, it is a 4-inch triangles in a square die, and this is how it looks. And from this, I'm going to split these up a little bit. You need 8 of the triangles. So you need 8 of the triangles. Again, triangles in a square, 4-inch finished squares die from the AccuQuilt Go line. You need 8 of those triangles. And then from these half triangles, they look like that. Let me just show you. You're going to need 16 of those. And that is what you need to make one 16 1/2 inch block. And now I'm going to show you how to put it all together. Alrighty, so here we are, we're ready to set this up. Hopefully it'll all fit in the camera. You're going to use that one large square, the one that we made one piece of. That's going to be your center. And then you're going to take those next triangles, they all fit. And the nice thing about the AccuQuilt is they trim them so accurately. It makes it so easy to piece these. You definitely want to use that 1/4 inch seam, a real accurate 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now, of course, I hid these. Let's see, so you're going to put those, I'm just going to lay this out, and then I'm going to show you how I sew it together. So there's that center. And then you're going to take the next larger, and these will be your largest triangles. And yes, it all fits once it's sewn. It all fits. Look at these pretty stars on this fabric and the moons. Nice dark offset. There you go. We're going to keep building on it. Then you're going to start using, you're going to do these triangles. This is all from, these are from that other die that wasn't part of the Go Cube. Okay, so the last thing we need to do are these corners. And this is the one thing I want to tell you about. A lot of storm at seas that you see, the corner is actually a square in a square in a square. This is just a square in a square. That's how it works out with the dies that I had. So, but I believe, I'm not 100% sure, I believe the actual storm at sea die that's available at AccuQuilt has the one that has the square and a square and a square. I know that's a lot of squares. It more looks like this, just a miniature of this. But mine just had this part here. All right, here it is laid out. Look at those blues. They glow, and you can see all the different shades. There's even there are 2 different whites in there, and then this dark, and then all these really pretty sort of royal blues. Just gorgeous. So now to sew this, the first thing you're going to do, and like I said a couple times, it's a lot of pieces. I sew the center first. Let me just move these out of the way a little bit. I sewed the center first and get that square done. And then I would sew these sections, these sort of diamond, they'll form a diamond, and then I'll sew these corners together. And then you'll have all those units done, and then you can sew it almost like just a regular block, because you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost be like a sort of like a 9 patch, a little deceptive, but that's what it'll look like. So I'm going to turn off the camera, and while I go sew, I'm going to go sew these pieces together. Again, follow the instructions. They're really good on the AccuQuilt dies that you get. Excuse me. And they're cut so well that you shouldn't have any problem. Just make sure you use the 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to go do that, and when I come back, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Alrighty, so you see where I've sewn the center part together. This is the, I think it's the economy block, square and a square and a square is what I call it. It's easier for me. And then these 4 corners, and then here you can see where I sewed those pieces together, and then there's that middle seam. So you sew these 2 outer ones first, and then you sew them together. And then this is really building up to that Storm of Sea block. So the next thing I'm going to do is just sew this together like a regular 9 patch. You're just going to sew each row together, and then once the individual rows are sewn together, I will piece the entire block together, and I'll be back to show you that. So here are the rows sewn together, the individual rows sewn together, and then what you're going to do is just going to attach that to this one to this one, and then you will have your 16.5 inch Storm at Sea block made with AccuQuilt Go cube and the triangles in a square, 4 inch. So here it is. Here's the finished Storm at Sea block that I made with my AccuQuilt Go cube mix and match 8 inch block and the triangle in a square, the 4 inch size. This makes a 16.5 inch Storm at Sea block. And if you remember my quilt from the beginning, and you'll see it here in a minute, there's that circular shape I really wanted to highlight. So how I did it when I colored, when I cut out all the shapes, actually in this corner here, let me just move this out of the way, this was white, and then the rest of this and the square in the middle were all black. That way I got that circular shape, and it really highlighted. And then these were black as well, so I really did play with the coloring a little bit to get that sort of compass look or that circular look. This really is a striking block, and it's really easy to make with that AccuQuilt Go. I cannot thank them enough for being one of the sponsors of the ambassadors this year. That's been a great tool, and if you look back at some of my other projects, I've used them as well. Stick around. I'm going to show you the full quilt one more time, and so you can see how I used it and how I used the different coloring to achieve a different look for my Storm at Sea quilt. So I'm going to give you one last look. I also showed some pictures throughout too, so you can see the whole thing. We just got back from vacation about a week ago, and we went to the beach, and I took this with me because I thought how perfect to take some pictures of the Storm at Sea quilt that I made, or Night Navigator. I got some at a lighthouse. Fortunately for us, there was no storm, but I sort of wanted to get a stormy sky at the beach, but there was no luck on that. But the wind was really bad, so I didn't get as many pictures as I thought I would. But anyway, one last look at that. I hope you enjoyed making this block. It really is a lot of fun, and you don't need that many of it. I know the block has a lot of pieces in it, but I just needed 20 blocks to make this quilt, and they're all 16.5 inches. The nice thing about the 20 blocks is I really wanted to show off the 20 different half yards that they gave me. I wanted to show off every single fabric that was in that collection. Thank you again so much to Island Batik. This program has just been such a pleasure, the Island Batik Ambassador Program. I really appreciate all the beautiful fabrics you sent me. Thank you to Hobbs Batting for all the batting that you've sent, and Schmetz Needles for all the needles that they sent us at the beginning of the year. And of course to AccuQuilt, who sent us the machine and some of the die cuts. They sent us the Go Cube. So again, the secret fabric that I got this month for the blog hop was Constellations, designed by Kathy Engle for Kari Nichols of Quilting Renditions. Just gorgeous. If you like blues, you're going to love this collection of real true blue colors. So thank you so much for stopping by, and have a great day.